In this video, I will give a quick demonstration of the recent updates to the results parts of Top Dog events. Firstly, please ignore the dates for the Agility Nationals here. We're not running them again. I just like using this for demos because it's very data rich. So after Nationals, all of the updates are based on results and mostly around feedback that I had from users, trial secretaries, and scribes, eScribes as well. So yeah, let's go through them. Firstly, I've simplified the results now. We don't differentiate between faults and refusals any longer because there's no point. It doesn't affect the end result at the end of the day, and it sounds like Western Australia were the only people doing it. I've also added extra buttons here for there's a withdrawn. I guess that's basically the same as if somebody scratches on the day. You can call NFC because over East competitors will signal NFC at the beginning of their run rather than entering in NFC, and DQ and save, that's all the same. One of the changes I made was a little confirmation box that comes up now. This is to help the electronic scribe compare with the paper scribe, just to make sure everything's the same. If you happen to be using a computer, you can acknowledge with enter as well, so it's just an extra enter press there. We've also calculate total faults on the fly now if course details have been updated. We can obviously, you'd see here we've got a course with a course length of, a course time of 50 seconds. This run was 52.2, so there's 2.2 total faults, and it'll calculate for regular faults as well. The other cool thing I put in, granted this may never actually happen again, is dead heat detection. So if you put in a result that happens to be a dead heat within that class, it'll say we've picked up a dead heat and here is the entry that you've matched time with. So you can organize a rerun before, rather than working it out in the office. And just to show there, it doesn't go between heights for classes that are split into heights. So in open, that would have detected the 300 height as well. The other thing I've changed on this screen is I've added a view scribe sheet button. So what this aims to do is give the electronic scribe something to compare with the paper scribe. So these results are displayed in time order. So if you're writing out your entire scribe sheet, this should match, and just a lot easier to check as opposed to this one, which is done in catalog order. The other big change is around live results. So if we go back to the actual trial page, you'll see this button pop up here, and this is basically, it's broken down in here by trial. You select the class you want to look at, and it'll basically show the results as they're being entered. So these are essentially raw results. So if we go back to the eScribe sheet, I'll put another result in here. And then if we go back to this page, yeah, it just basically drops them in there. This is something that was requested by a few clubs. If we have a look at the trial settings page, I've actually set a option here, show live eScribe sheets. You can just turn that off. If you save that, drop this back to the trial page, the button goes away so people can't see it if you don't want them to. While we're talking about hiding results, we have another option here where you can delay the publishing of results. This is handy for championship type events like finals and anything else where the club would rather save the results until presentations. So if we process these results now, we get some placings, and back on the trial page, there's a publish results button, but because this particular trial has been blocked out, it won't actually show them. What you can do with that is from the results dashboard, you've got this little toggle switch here, as you can just turn them on. And then if we go back to publish results, we can see them there. Let's plonk them in. The other thing I've done with this page is if there are no results, I've made it unclickable and changed the color so it's kind of obvious. It was pretty annoying going through and clicking on every class to see which classes have had results. The other big change is around how eScribing works for games. One of the big bits of feedback we got was around not handling opening and closing sequence points and not remembering the actual points that went in, if that makes sense. So when they were comparing paper notes, I said, well, how did you get to 20? So, I don't know. So I've got the calculator. It tells you what sequence you're in there. So in Gamblers, while they're out collecting their points, you press the buttons. The buzzer goes off, you switch to closing sequence, and then you can put in the points as they get them there, and done. It'll calculate the total points for you. Once you've saved it, oh, hang on, I need to put a time in there. Once you've saved it, you can go back to the calculator and it'll let you remember the sequence of points you've put in, so you can refer to them later if need be. And for classes where applicable, so snooker and the opening sequence of Gamblers, the default scores are already in there. But obviously for Gamblers, you're going to have to put in the points required in the closing sequence because it's variable. The next change of note is around the results for obedience and scent work trials. If we have a look at this trial, we'll go to the results dashboard and go to UDX. So if we have a look at the Scribe sheet, we'll open up the results page and you quite literally just enter points. Apparently we're missing decimals last time, so that's been fixed now. There's also the difference in that we have a NQ and a pass button. So basically anyone with an NQ will not pass, and once you click pass, so there's no calculation in obedience as to who passes or not. It's determined by the buttons there, and then the results will just calculate qualified rounds and work out the points. Rally is much the same, but it obviously has a time field there as well. And for scent work, it's got just the time faults, and then there's DQ, NQ, and pass. And it will do the place calculations based on faults and time. The last change I will cover is around the ability to give placings to non-qualified rounds. So there are some states that have a regulation where basically every run that isn't disqualified gets a place. So if we go back here, you can see the option, would you like to calculate placings for entries with faults? We're going to set that to yes. And if we jump back to our eScribe sheet for novice agility, we'll give this 38 seconds, but with one fault. So we're expecting 4 placings in this event. So if we finalize them, here we can see that. And their second place, despite being faster, has faults. So it's came second. I guess just to prove that again, if we jump back to the options, we're going to switch that off. And you come back to your results dashboard, view qualifiers. So when we reprocess, we should see that one disappear. So there we go. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching.